Hey guys, welcome back to some more reviews. The Explorer of Horror here, the Horror Boy, and today getting to the last movie in the Poltergeist trilogy, the original Poltergeist trilogy, and that is my review on Poltergeist 3. Now, Poltergeist 3 came out in 1988, gets a 4.7 on IMDb, and was written by Gary Sherman. Now, Poltergeist 3, it's funny because I put this list on my 20 underrated horror films list. I think I regret that decision because I rewatched it yesterday, and it really doesn't hold up. I mean, it really doesn't. There's some good things in it. There really is. There's some good things in this movie. But I think overall this movie is just it's a very weak sequel. It really is. It's just a movie that has a lot of problems. And I don't know why I didn't realize that before. I mean, before I had bought this movie on VHS. I don't have that VHS anymore, but I had it on VHS. And I watched it a couple times and thought it was decent. I really did. Honestly. And for years, in my mind, it's had a decent film. And I rewatched it the other day, and it's just like, dude, no, it really isn't that good of a movie. Definitely, I would say Poltergeist 1 and 2 is better than this one. This one's just got a lot of problems. And the story is, you got Carol Ann, once again played by Heather O'Rourke. She had passed away, I think, before the movie had come out, so this was her last movie, and it's very sad to see that, and she's in this movie, and Carol Ann has been sent to this skyscraper that I think her uncle owns, and her aunt, her uncle, and their daughter are kind of living together. While she's staying there, she's going to this special school for smart kids. And while she's there, she's kind of being, they ask her questions about the previous poltergeist incidents and trying to figure out if she causes mass hysteria, which is a big problem with this movie. It tried different stuff. It really did. It wasn't, and once again, I mean, it wasn't like it went back to basics and said, oh, well, we're going to have a static TV and Carol Ann gets put on the other side, even though she does, but I just feel like it was done differently in this movie. It was still trying to keep it very different. And the thing about this movie is that Heather O'Rourke is the star. I mean, she gets first bill, and she deserves it, she does great in the movie. She is on the posters, which she's on this one, which really is a weird poster, because, first of all, that looks like a poster from the first movie, or second movie. There's no TV in Poltergeist 3, so I don't know why there's Kane walking out of a TV on that poster, because there's no TV in this movie. But on the actual poster of her, it's a pretty awesome poster. The skyscraper, she's looking up on the thunder and lightning and stuff. She gets on the poster, she gets top billed on the opening credits. But really, she's not in the movie that much. I mean, there's about 30 minutes that she's in the movie, and then she's gone. 30 or 40 minutes within the movie, she's gone. And then for the rest of the movie, she's an evil reflection until the very end. Which is really, strange. They did that in this movie, and I don't like the decision at all. I don't know why you would do that. Poltergeist 2 at least had her around for pretty much all of the movie until the very end. But this one kind of devolved that and kind of had her go back to the other side for most of the movie, and I didn't like the way that it was done. And knowing that this is her last movie, the ending being the way that it is and the way they do that, it's just not a very good way to treat the character. I feel like she should have been the lead of the movie and been the movie for the rest of the way. I mean, you do have a decent cast. Tom Skerritt, Nancy Allen, Zelda Rubinstein, Laura Finn Boyle. I mean, these are really great actors here. But the thing the acting really isn't that bad. I mean, there are points where the acting can get a little stiff, but I think what it is the script. This movie really needed to really have a new script, or have a script that was rewrote, because this script has a lot of problems, to the point to where there's points in the movie that just kind of lead to nowhere, dead ends in the story, and weird parts in the story too. Weird parts. But basically, Carol Ann is staying with her aunt and uncle, Nancy Allen, Tom Skerritt. And Nancy Allen, of course, is the sister to the lead girl from the first movie, Jo Beth Williams. And while Caroline is there, Kane comes back. Now, how he comes back, I don't know. Because they try to mention that he comes back because Dr. Seaton, Richard Fire, which is... Dr. Seaton is a big problem in this movie. And I don't blame the actors in this movie. I really don't. It's the script, man. The script is really rough. But they try mentioning that Dr. Seaton, or Seaton, Dr. Seaton, he mentions Kane's name, and supposedly this is how Kane comes back. But my issue with that idea is that Carol Ann sees Kane before that happens. She sees him in a reflection. She sees him kind of take the form of this guy cleaning the windows in the skyscraper. So and the mirrors are already breaking in the skyscraper. The mirrors already have stuff going on with them. So it's like Kane is already there. So really, there is no explanation of why Kane comes back. That's another thing in the scripts. Like, they say, oh, you know, Dr. Seaton, you made him come back. It's like, wait a minute. He was back way before that scene. Pretty much since the beginning of the movie, he's been back. So why is he back? I don't know. But somehow, some way, he's back. And the actor from the previous movie didn't come back to be Kane in this movie because he passed away, I think, before Poltergeist 2 even came out. So in this movie, you have somebody else playing Kane. And I don't know, they do this weird makeup on his face, and it's like they try to age somebody. I don't know if they got an old guy and try to age him more, or got a younger guy and try to age him. The makeup looks pretty bad. And in this movie, the thing about Poltergeist 2 that made that character good is he was a very subtle character. You know, he walked up, how you doing? Lord's holy temple. You know, and you're all gonna die. You know, it's like that stuff. He kept it unique and different. And in this movie, Kane is made one of the most generic bad guys, one of the most generic villains in horror films, because he's either laughing, and then he's yelling, or he's saying, Carol Ann, we need you to guide us to the light. Carol Ann, Carol Ann. And it's like, he's not subtle, he's generic, none of his dialogue is unique. And he doesn't even say really anything in the movie. He just kind of comes back and makes some stuff happen with the mirrors and doesn't say anything. Doesn't explain himself, doesn't say why he's back, except for, we need you to guide us to the light, which doesn't make sense because in Poltergeist 2, he didn't even mention that. I don't think he mentioned that in Poltergeist 2. How they needed her to guide them to the light. That was the first movie that happened, not the second movie. Second movie, Kane was just an evil spirit. So it's like, I don't understand that either. And basically, Kane comes back and stuff starts happening around the skyscraper. And instead of being a house, a skyscraper, you got some, I will admit, some cool stuff with the mirrors where the reflections will change. And it's done very well in the movie. That's the thing. It's like it has these great things in it. The great things, I will say, I do think the mirror stuff is cool. How there will be a statue in the mirror like this, and then the reflection will turn its head and look at Nancy Allen. Or a crack will go up the mirror all the way to the top. or the ice in the movie that looks pretty cool. The ice in the frozen rooms. How a room will fill with water, but yet the room won't get wet. It'll stay dry, and Tangina comes out of the water, but she's not wet. She's, dry. It's like, I wonder how they did that, so the water filling the room up with it not even really getting anything wet. It's pretty interesting how they did that. You have a parking garage scene, which is pretty cool, where, well, there's two scenes, really, where there's a little puddle of water, and it's done in one shot. I don't know how they did this, but it's a puddle of water, about, not even that big, honestly. It's a little puddle of water, and Carol Ann gets pulled into there because, of course, the reflection. And she gets pulled in there, and then these two people try to come up and help her, but they get pulled in there, too. That was all done very well. It looked cool. There's also a scene with Tom Skerritt and Nancy Allen where these cars turn on by themselves and try to hit them and stuff like that. It was a cool scene. It tries to be kind of like more of a slasher tone because there are some deaths in this movie. Some of them are just really bad. That's the thing. They made a lot of bad decisions in this movie. First of all, the movie plays out, you think that the younger teenager is going to be the lead, but actually they both get, killed in a way. And then it becomes Tom Skerritt and Nancy Allen that becomes the leads. And they got to figure out how to get Carol Ann out of the other side again. So it kind of is reminiscent of the first movie, but not a ripoff. She's not behind the TV or in the TV or they don't hear really her talking. She's more of in the reflections in the mirrors and stuff like that. And so it is a little different. But they become the leads and they got to figure out what's going on. And my problem with that is they don't seem like they're really that concerned. Like, they're seeing all this crazy stuff going on, but Nancy Allen's like, who cares? We got our daughter back. Who cares about Carol Ann? She's a little brat. Who cares about her? I'm like, why would you make her character say all that? I understand it's like, well, at the end of the movie, she has an arc, but that's the very end of the movie. And the ending sucks. So it's like, really, that arc goes nowhere. It's nothing. There's no energy to it. There's nothing to it. It's just nothing. It's a nothing arc. That's the problem with it. And there will be scenes where Tom Skerritt and Nancy Allen will survive this parking garage scene where they're almost killed by cars. They'll run a little bit, and then they'll stop, and they'll smile, and they're like, it's over. Tangent gave us this necklace. We can stop this evil. And it's like, dude, you haven't even made it to the top floor yet. You're in the garage. You still gotta go up to the top floor and face Kane. Why are you going, we did it, we won, we got this necklace, we're gonna do it, baby, it's okay, we're gonna be alright. It's like, no, you haven't even fought the Kane yet. Kane still has Carol Ann. And technically speaking, still has their daughter, too. So it's like they're over here celebrating in the garage. We did it. We got this necklace. We got it. By the way, this necklace thing, where'd this come from? I don't remember a necklace in the first movie or second movie. I don't remember it. I really don't. And I just watched them. Maybe it was in the second and first movie, but it was a minor thing. This movie, they make a big deal of, this necklace. I'm like, where'd this necklace come from? And how Kane, his powers are weak against it. And honestly leads to nowhere because the necklace isn't used to defeat Kane. So that goes nowhere. But yeah, you have where they're celebrating. It's like, dude, you haven't even faced Kane yet. What are you celebrating? This is the end of the movie. We got 15 minutes left, And they become the leads and they have to go up to the top floor and they face some cool stuff like these evil reflections in the mirrors. And Tom Skerritt ends up being killed by Kane, and Nancy Allen has, of course, I don't know why Nancy Allen is the last survivor. Her character, she has an arc, but it's like by that point, the whole movie she's been mean and rude to Carol Ann, so it's like, goes nowhere. But she's like saying how she cares about Carol Ann now, and I didn't realize that before, but I love you, and you're a part of our family, and it's like that arc just does not work for me. And she tries to use the necklace, but it really doesn't work. She knocks off Kane's head, and his head like moves and deforms for some reason. Then he comes back. Then Tangina pops up. And Tangina in this scene, it's not her fault, because I thought Zelda Rubinstein in this movie does a great job. This line from the script was a bad thing. And the internet's not working right now. So I can't show you it, unfortunately. I don't think I can. Actually, no, I can't. Alright. I want to get this line. But that's not a problem. Tangina, she also, in this movie, gets killed off. And I'm like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you kill off her character like that? And it's a stupid way that happens, because earlier on in the movie, she sees this, evil reflection, and she's like, don't go near it, it's an evil reflection. And then she sees another one, and she's like, oh, Carol Ann? This is literally the line. It's not her fault. This is how the script was written. Carol Ann? Carol Ann? Carol Ann? Carol Ann? She's getting closer and closer to the mirror. She's practically, like, touching the mirror now. Carol Ann? And then, of course, it's actually Kane, and he kills Tangina. You see a flash, and she's now a corpse, and the daughter rips her way through the face, and the daughter is there, but it's an evil reflection. I'm like, that is one of the stupidest death scenes ever! And you really kill her off like that? Make people, like, make the daughter rip her face? Oh, like, you do that to that character? That's a dumb death scene. Because Tangina would not be like that. And sometimes you can just tell that Zelda Rubinstein is giving her best, but she knows at this script. You can see it in her face. She's like, these lines. Deep down, I bet she was saying, like, what she was probably thinking, this character wouldn't say these lines. Because she knew that character. In the first movie, the script was great. Second movie, I don't really think Tangina needed to be in there, but she was still good in the movie. And she still seemed like, she trusted this script and knew the character. In this movie, you could tell she was saying these lines, but maybe was like, does the character really, say this? Is this really her? And you could tell. It's like, in this movie, you can tell by all these characters, by the way they look. It's just like they're saying lines, and you can tell by the way they look, they're like second guessing it. They're like, should I really say it like this? Is it really said like this? And yeah, the script really wrote it like that. But I want to get this line because Tangina, she ends up being the one that stops Kane in this movie. And she's the one who, because the necklace doesn't even really work, honestly. But she's the one that ends up saying that she'll guide Kane to the light. I'm sorry if I'm pausing here, but I'm trying to find the line. And she is basically going to lead him into the light. And she could get saved, but she says that she doesn't want to. But I think she says, what does she say? Like, I have the power, or something like that. Like she says a quote like that, something to that extent, or to that line. I have the knowledge and the power. Again, she's trying her best, but that's the script. I don't blame her acting. This is the script. I have the knowledge and the power. And then Kane disappears, and the family fight together, and that's the end of the movie. And Carol Ann's there, the daughter's there, everybody's back together again, and Kane, I guess, went to the light. and the movie ends. But then you get a weird thing where you hear Kane laughing and lightning around the building again. It's like, so what? Was that ending pointless too? It's like, man, it bothers me because there are things in this movie that stand out. The score sounds cheap, generic. It reminds me of a direct-to-video score from the late 80s, early 90s. That really cheap score, no energy to it. It's like nothing to the music, nothing to the writing. The script is awful. You got things like Dr. Seaton trying to say that, oh, well, Carol Ann and this script for this character is awful. He's just like, oh yeah, Carol Ann calls mass hysteria and calls an entire neighborhood to think they've seen a poltergeist. But, you know, she has an ability to make mass hysteria and make people think that things are happening. And there's just literally this dumb scene where a coffee mug, a hand comes to a table, throws the coffee mug at this two-way mirror, and he goes, oh, see? She made me think that a coffee mug was thrown. I'm like, what is this crap, man? What is this? And you do have some, even though the lead actors aren't really, like, horrible, the supporting, like, the rest of the cast, I thought did awful. The boyfriend, his mom and sister and brother, and the rest of the friends is, like, all awful. Awful acting, awful script writing for their characters. Just awful. I do want to end the review on a positive because, you know, I do want to mention the good things in a minute, but the bad things, like I said, the music is horrible. It doesn't really have any good shots in the movie besides the mirror stuff. There's nothing to the lighting, there's nothing to the atmosphere, there's nothing to the camera work, no really good shots, memorable shots. The fact that you got Kane coming back in this movie, why? It's not explained. Never is explained. They try to say, oh yeah, it is explained, but it's like, dude, he was back way before that explanation. But Dr. Seaton's character is horrible. You got Nancy Allen treating Carol Ann horribly. You've got some... Just the biggest problem is the writing, man. The writing is awful. It really is. There's just lines and parts of the story. It's just got a lot of problems, man. Especially the writing. The writing is horrendous. But as far as, you know, good things go, I do think it does have some great effects to it. Like, all the practical effects look great. Even the CGI effects looks pretty decent. You know, they all are on par with the first two movies. I will say that the effects aren't really that big of an issue. The mirror illusions I love. I love certain scenes, like where they're walking away from the mirrors, and as they walk past a door, Kane comes out. And they walk past another one, boom, Kane comes out. Another one, Kane comes out. I like how there's evil reflections. And Carol Ann puts her hands on the mirror, and these hands come through the mirror and, like, you know, drag her up the mirror, and then they rip a hole in the mirror. You see, like, the void between the mirror and the other side, and it was a pretty cool scene. I will say that Heather O'Rourke does a great job in this movie, acting-wise. She does a great job as Carol Ann. And it's just very unfortunate that she passed away before this movie came out. It's very unfortunate, very sad. Tom Skerritt does great. Nancy Allen does great. The daughter really isn't that bad. They tried to make them seem like they were a family, but some of it came off a little rough. The acting sometimes could get a little rough. I don't know if it was the script or I think it was the dialogue, honestly. But I like certain ideas, like where Nancy Allen will come in the room and say, you know, don't forget, more is less. And then later on, Carol Ann will come into the room in the mirror, remember, more is less. And the daughter will turn and the door is closed. And these are all done in one shot. And then she'll turn back to the mirror, then she'll look at the door, open it, and then Carol Ann's there. Saying, you know, don't forget, more is less. Very, very good stuff. That was pretty cool. I like how it's the ice in the rooms and like the frozen rooms different. I like that. Besides that, though, I mean, there's really not. And I regret putting on 2020 underrated horror film because now that I think about it, there are tons of movies I could have put over this movie. I mean, I really could have. But, yeah, overall, Poltergeist 3 really isn't a great movie. Unfortunately, it really isn't. I wanted it to be. I went into it going, yeah, I remember liking Poltergeist 3. Let me go back into it. Watching along. I'm like, man, this movie is rough. But, yeah, Poltergeist 3 definitely is the weakest one of the original Poltergeist trilogy. Not a very great movie at all, but does have some salvageable things about it. The effects, the on-camera illusion, or the in-camera illusions. The, Heather O'Rourke, Tom Skerritt, the acting is pretty basic for what it is. I don't remember it being too sluggish. It does go by at a pretty fast pace, because part 2 had that problem where, I was constantly checking the time while I was watching Poltergeist 2, whereas this movie, that wasn't really a problem. It was kind of fast paced. But, yeah, Poltergeist 3 has a lot of issues, a lot of problems, and overall, just a very weak entry in the series. But that is my reviews on the first 3 Poltergeist movies, and tomorrow I'm going to watch the remake and get that review up for you guys, or rant, most likely, because that movie looks like it's a piece of crap. But, yeah, Poltergeist, the trilogy, overall, if I had the choice to have sequels or just an original movie, no sequels, I wouldn't do the sequels because, honestly, I mean, this is a weak entry. And Poltergeist 2 I like, but honestly, the first movie is just the best. I mean, you're not going to be able to top it. And to remake Poltergeist, to me, is blasphemy. It's blasphemy. How dare them remake Poltergeist? That's crazy to me. I'm already offended at that remake because, like, how dare you remake that? It's like, how dare you remake The Exorcist? Just how dare you? Those movies are amazing. The Thing prequel tried to remake it, but it failed, even though it's a prequel. But The Thing, how dare you remake that movie? Don't touch those movies. Those movies are great. But yeah, Poltergeist 1, 2, and 3 reviews overall. Really love the first movie. Second movie I like. This one is disappointing, but I am going to give the remake a chance. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to go into it and really go into it with the blank mindset and just see how it goes from there. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review on Poltergeist 3. Let me know your guys' thoughts on Poltergeist 3 in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's okay? What are your thoughts on Poltergeist 3 and Poltergeist, the trilogy in general? But anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review on Poltergeist 3, and I'll see you guys in the next review. The Explorer of Horror is out. See you guys later. Bye.